Hello everyone, good day. So for this video, I will be discussing our lesson number 1, which is the introduction to statics. We will be discussing here more on concepts and terms, and at the same time, we will be also discussing on how do we derive to the formula on how to compute the resultant. So first, let's discuss the concepts and terms that we will be encountering in solving topics on our statics on rigid bodies. So first, let's discuss. So we have the general term na tinatawag nating engineering mechanics, which is which talks about the deformation or the forces na nag-a-act sa mga different bodies, rigid bodies. So, under the engineering mechanics, meron tayong tatlong subject na may encounter simula ngayon hanggang in future semester. So, first we have the what we call statics, or yung subject nyo ngayon, which is the statics on rigid bodies. We also have the dynamics and also the strength of materials. So, let's discuss first the statics. Ano nga ba yung statics? Sa madaling salita, ang statics is yun yung mga at rest. Kumbaga, yung mga rigid bodies natin is steady lang siya. And ang kino-consider lang natin dito is yung effect. It deals with the effect lang. Deals with the effect and forces on rigid bodies. Okay, tandaan nyo, statics is at rest sa madaling salita. Sa dynamics naman, pinakamadaling palatandaan ng dynamics is kabaliktaran ng statics, so it is in motion. Ibig sabihin, yung rigid bodies meron ng galaw or movement. Not unlike sa statics na at rest siya. So, this one, it considers the motion of rigid bodies affected by the forces which act on these bodies. Okay. Next naman, sa strength of materials, this one is the deeper understanding na ng deformation. Deformation. Which is, may encounter nyo na siya and then next semester, and hopefully dito nyo pa siya mamimit sa Yupang. So, after we discuss these 3 different subjects under ng engineering mechanics, we can identify na for this sem, we will be focusing on statics on rigid bodies. Ayan. So, moving forward, let's tackle ano nga ba yung meaning ni rigid bodies and ni forces. So, we have rigid bodies. This one talks about the definite amount of matter na hindi siya nade-deform even force is exerted. So, example, we have here rock. Okay? So, kunyari rock yan. Tapos, nag-exert tayo ng force dito. Kunyari, sinuntok mo yung bato. Kahit na alam mong matigas yung bato. Sinuntok mo yung bato, so merong force na nag-exert doon sa bato. So ngayon, meron bang effect yung pagsuntok mo doon sa bato? Wala, 'di ba? Hindi naman magbre-break into two yung bato dahil lang sa sinuntok mo siya. So yun yung pinaka-concept ni rigid bodies. It's the definite amount of matter na hindi siya nadideform even when you exerted force. So, pero doesn't mean na hindi natin nakita yung effect ng pagsuntok mo sa bato. It doesn't mean na hindi na magbe-break yung rock. So, ibig sabihin, yung force na in-exert lang natin is kulang lang siya para lang makita natin with our bare eye yung effect doon sa rigid body. So, meron pa rin namang mga gamit na pwedeng makapag-break sa rock into pieces. Ayun. Next is we have forces. So, sa force naman, this one is the push or pull effect na ginagawa natin sa isang object, which makes the object move. Push or pull effect that tends to make the object move, stop, or change direction. Ayan. Kumbaga, ito yung force na ini-exert natin sa isang bagay para gumalaw yung bagay. So, for example, we have here, okay, next page. So, for example, we have here box. Ayan. Cute box lang. Diba? Hindi pa pantay. So, meron tayong box dyan. Yung tinatawag kasi nating force is, for example, tayo ito. Okay, stick man lang tayo. So, itutulak mo yung box dyan. Ayan. Tinulak mo yung box. So, si box, pupunta yan dyan, sa direction na yan. Pupunta siya into left direction. So, kapag hinila mo naman yung box, papunta naman siya sa'yo. Pa-right naman yung direction. So, yun yung tinatawag na force. Yun yung push and pull. So, pero, doesn't mean na push and pull lang talaga yung ginagawa mo doon sa object, no? So, yun lang yung parang pinaka-effect doon sa isang bagay para lang mag-move or it can stop or change yung direction nung isang bagay. Ngayon, since na-discuss na natin ang force, let's go to our force system. So, sa force system, meron tayong mga different forces na nag-a-act. Depends kung saan sila nag-a-act. So, first, let's discuss first the force system that acts on a plane. So, first, we have here the coplanar forces, which means it acts on one plane. So, ito yung mga mostly nakikita natin in 2D drawings. So, for example, we have here the plane. And then, there are forces na nag-a-act sa plane na to. Ayan. Since nasa isang plane lang sila, tinatawag natin itong mga forces na to na coplanar. Ayan. So, next, we have the non-coplanar. This one acts on different plane. Kumbaga, ito na yung mga kinakatakutan ninyong 3D drawings. So, for non-coplanar, for example, we have here the first plane and we have here the second plane. Ayan. So, there are forces na nag-act dito. Palitan natin yung color. May nag-act na forces dito, dito. Meron din dyan, meron dyan. May pababang forces sa kabilang plane. So, this one, since nag-act sila sa two different plane, ibig sabihin, yung mga forces is non-coplanar. Okay, naintindihan? May tanong? So, kung may tanong kayo, you can leave your questions sa ating comment section sa ating GCR, or you can message me or sa ating GC. Okay, just leave your question and concerns sa ating mga different platforms. So, these two is the forces. Na-delete. Forces based on a plane. Ayan. Next, let's discuss the forces that acts based on the line of action. So, we have here based on line of action. So, we have three different forces sa depends sa line of action. We have first the collinear. So it's concurrent pala. The term is concurrent. So for concurrent, ibig sabihin lahat ng line of action nagmi-meet at one point. So for example, we have here the point A. So we have forces B, we have forces C, we have here we have forces D. Ayan. So kapag project mo kasi deeply yung mga forces, so magkakaroon yan ng projection dito upward. Magkakaroon ng projection si point B horizontally papunta sa right, and also meron tayong maproproject na line of action ni C diagonally downwards. So ibig sabihin lahat ng line of action or lahat ng line na mga forces is nagmi-meet sa one point, and that is the point A. Yan yung tinatawag nating concurrent. So pangalawa, we have the non-concurrent. Sa non-concurrent naman, of course, kabaliktaran lang naman ni concurrent. Ibig sabihin, they meet at two or more points. So, for example, we have here the forces B. We also have forces A here. And also we have here the force C. So kung ipoproject naman natin yung mga line of action ng mga different forces. Ayan. So si point B at point A, nag-meet naman sila. Pero meron tayong force C na nahiwalay. Na-meet niya si force B, but then hindi niya na-meet ang line of action ni force A. So ibig sabihin, nagkakaroon ng different point of intersection dito sa non-concurrent. Kaya siya natawag na non-concurrent kasi nga, hindi sila nagmi-meet sa isang point lang. Okay, naintindihan. And lastly, we also have the parallel forces. And as per definition, the parallel As per definition, the parallel are the forces that is parallel to each other. So for that one, ang parallel naman let's just show some examples here. For parallel forces, we have here like, for example, the forces are all horizontally, or it may be vertically lahat, or kaya diagonally yung forces, as long as they are all parallel. Ano ba yung parallel? Di ba? Ang parallel is nasa iisang way or direction at hindi sila nag-intersect. So those are the examples of our force system in our statics. So naintindihan? If may questions, again, you can drop your questions sa ating mga comment section and at the same time sa ating messenger. Next, let's go to our next topic, which is the forces and characteristics. So, just bear with me on our lesson 1 dahil isa itong malawakang concept dahil dito natin kukunin lahat ng mga concepts we need sa pag-compute ng resultant and also the equilibrium na tinatawag for our future lessons. So, going back, we have the forces and characteristics. Meron tayong tinatawag here na magnitude. Yung magnitude, ito yung numerical value of a force. Ano ba yung nagre-represent ng magnitude? So, kapag sinabi kasi magnitude, ito yung mga naririnig nyong 400 Newton. Let's have our example. Ito yung mga tinatawag nating 400 Newton o kaya we have 200 pounds, mga ganyan. So, ibig sabihin, yung magnitude pala, yun yung nag-i-state kung gaano kalakas yung force. So, ano nga ba ang mga unit under ng magnitude? So, we have here Newton, represented by big N. We also have the kilonewton, or Kn. We also have, for the English unit, the pounds, the pounds, which is represented by lb, and we have the kilopounds, or also known as the kips. So, huwag niyong kakalimutan yung mga units na commonly used sa ating mga magnitude kasi it is something important na kailangan nating ninonote lalo na sa mga final answer, ganun, para hindi tayo malito, no? So, next is we also have the direction. Okay. Sa direction naman, it is mostly and commonly na nire-represent ng ating angle or ating theta. This one is the theta. Or it can be also the slope. So sa slope, ito yung mga nakikita nyo na ang nakalagay is, for example, 4 vertical is to 7 horizontal. Yung mga nakaganyang, ito example lang to. Example. Yung mga nakaganyang way of writing, ibig sabihin yung instead na theta or angle yung binigay sa atin, is slope ang binigay. So, yun yung direction natin. And lastly, we have the point of application. Sa point of application, ito yung tinatawag nating point of contact between two bodies. So, sa point of application, let's have our drawing here. For example, we have here box. napakaganda ng ating drawing. I'm so sorry for that. And also, we also have here, for example, merong nakatali dito or nakakonect na cable. So, kapag hinati mo kasi ang cable, magkakaroon yan ng tensile force. Ayan. For example, meron ni-represent lang na tensile force dyan. Ang tinatawag nating point of contact is that kapag project natin yung tensile force, yung line of action kung saan nagmi-meet yung dalawang object, the cable and the box, yun yung tinatawag natin na point of application or contact. Ayan. So, yan yung mga characteristics or kumbaga yun yung mga important na meron tayo sa mga forces. Hindi nawawala ang magnitude and at the same time the direction sa mga examples natin. Example problem. Okay. Next is ayun. So, konting tiis. Yun nga, konting tiis dito sa lesson 1 since we are focusing on terms para hindi kayo magkalituan pagdating na sa mga problem solving. At the same time, wag natin iti-take for granted ang mga terms kasi you never know na baka kasama yung 1 hanggang 5 terms pagdating sa final exam. So, ayun, mag-take note lang kayo sa mga terms kung ano yung mga na i-encounter natin sa statics of rigid bodies. Okay, so going back to our discussion, just quick notes. We have the scalar and vector quantities. So, ano ba yung pinagkaiba ng dalawang quantities na ito? So, itong dalawang quantities na to, pinagkaiba nila is the direction. Okay? Si scalar kasi, meron lang siyang magnitude. Ano ba nga ba yung mga example ng scalar? We have the length. Ang length, meron tayong unit na meter lang, centimeter, but there is no direction, right? We also have the area. Area, ang unit lang natin dyan is meter, square feet. So, there's no also direction included sa area. Ano pa ba? Meron sa temperature. So, yun yung mga mga walang direction talaga. Next is the vector quantity. So, kung si scalar is magnitude only, si vector is magnitude and direction. Ito na yung mga na-encounter natin na example. Ito na yung mga na-encounter natin na mga acceleration. Kasi ano ba ang acceleration? Meter per second squared, if hindi ako nagkakamali. And then we also have the velocity. Meter per second din siya. So, oh no, I'm sorry. Oh, wait. We also have delete lang natin to. Sorry. We also have moment. Diba ang moment is kilonewton meter. We also have force. Ayan. So those are the examples of scalar and vector quantities. So let's just have a 1-minute break for this terms. Baka kasi medyo nawiwindang na kayo. Breathe in, breathe out lang saglit. And then I will just check something. Okay, so going back. Ayan, tama naman yung mga example natin. Dinouble check ko lang. Ayan, so going back here, since na-identify na natin ang difference ni scalar and vector, and I hope malinaw na sa lahat kung ano ang meaning ni scalar and vector quantities. Let's move forward sa ating unti-unting computation. So, let's discuss the components of a vector. So, sa components of a vector, ayan. So, hindi na rin naman na siguro masyadong bago sa ating lahat kung ano yung mga components of a vector. Maglilinya lang ako dito sa saglit. Mag-drawing lang tayo dito ng Cartesian plane. Ayan. Ayan. So, for example, we have here, the force F. Okay, so, ayan. Represent natin to as force F. Ayan. Sa ating force F, merong tayong dalawang components na magpo-project dito. Which are the x component of the force F represented by Fx, and also we have the vertical component of the force F. Okay, dito na lang natin siya i-project, which is represented by Fy. We also have here the direction na tinatawag natin, or the angle, theta x. Ayan. So, ito yung mga components of a vector na mostly na nakikita natin. Ayan. So, hindi na siguro bago sa lahat yung mga kung ano yung nakikita natin sa isang component. Or kung meron man na mga first taker, ayun. Ito ang components of a vector natin. Okay, balikan natin ulit. Refresh ulit natin. We have here the Cartesian plane. This one, the x and y axis. X and y axis. Now, we have the force F na tinatawag. Or this one is the resultant F. Ayan. Ngayon, si force F, meron siyang dalawang component, which is the x component, the x component or the horizontal component ng force F, which is represented by Fx, and also we have the vertical component of the force F, which is the Fy. We also have here the direction of the force F, which is represented by the theta x. Ngayon, ano ba yung napapansin natin sa drawing? So, napapansin natin na meron tayong nabuong right triangle. So, kung may right triangle, Bakit ba may right triangle? Kasi meron pong nabuo na 90-degree angle. Okay? So, kung may right triangle, ibig sabihin, meron yang SOHCAHTOA. Meron tayong SOHCAHTOA na tinatawag. So, balik tayo sa basic math. Kapag may right triangle, ang formula na kaakibat ni right triangle ay SOHCAHTOA. Very good. So, si SOHCAHTOA means muna, sin theta is equals to opposite over hypotenuse. For the cosine, we have the cosine theta adjacent over hypotenuse. And lastly, we have the tangent theta equals to opposite over adjacent. Okay. Isa-isahin natin na. Para ma-identify natin yung mga formulas na ginagamit natin sa pag-compute ng resultant ng horizontal component or ng vertical component, and then also the theta or the direction. Okay, so first, discuss natin si sin theta. Si muna, unahin natin. So, sa sin theta, we have here the sine, and then the theta is this one. I-change lang natin para hindi tayo malito. So, sin theta x is equals, ano ba yung opposite ni theta x? Ang opposite ni theta x is this one. Si fy. Si fy yung opposite. Ma'am, bakit po opposite? Ano po ba yung opposite? Si opposite, yun yung side ng triangle, ng right triangle, na hindi dumidikit doon sa angle. Kumbaga, yun yung opposite nga eh. Yun yung, ano ba yun? Kabilang side, kumbaga. Kabilang side ng theta. Okay. So, si theta yung pinaka-reference natin dyan. So, si fy yung opposite. So, balik tayo dito. Si opposite is si fy. And hypotenuse. Hypotenuse is the longest side. So, this one is the hypotenuse. F. Ngayon, para mahanap natin si vertical component, gagamitan natin siya ng cross multiplication. Paano natin i-cross multiplication? Okay. So, this one, step by step na para sa mga hindi makasunod or medyo nakalimutan na natin yung flow. Okay. Just a recap. So, paano natin i-cross multiply yan? So, we will use, or hanap tayo dito. Okay. Ito lang. So, para ma-cross multiply natin, i-imagine natin, hindi pala nakikita, na under ni sin theta x is merong imaginary 1. Ayan. Color yellow na lang para medyo matingkad-tingkad. Fy over f. Ngayon, ipag-cross multiply natin para makuha natin kung paano natin i-compute si vertical component. So, pag pinag-cross multiply, so fy times 1 is equals to fy, and f times sin theta x is equals to f sin theta x. So, mapapalabas na natin kung paano natin i-compute ang vertical component. Ayan. Naintindihan? Okay, kung naintindihan ninyo, very good kayo dyan. Kung hindi, and meron pang medyo hindi kayo malinawan, please do message me or doon sa GC natin. Okay. But I hope, mostly sa inyo, na intindihan na natin kung saan natin nakukuha yung mga components or kung saan natin nakukuha yung mga kinocompute natin, no? Next, let's go to cosine theta equals adjacent over hypotenuse. So, ano nga ba yung mga ko-compute natin using cosine theta? So, ganun lang gawin. Procedural. Palitan lang natin si theta ng theta x since yun yung represented na theta natin. And then, what is the adjacent? Adjacent, yun naman yung katabing side ng angle other than the hypotenuse. So, ang adjacent natin sa theta x is the fx. This one is the adjacent. Kasi ito yung katabing side ng theta x other than sa hypotenuse. Since ito naman, etong si f dito is the longest side, which is, yun nga, hypotenuse siya. So, going back, ang adjacent natin is the fx. And again, what is the hypotenuse? It's the f. Okay, so remember, we will just cross multiply since we will just imagine na merong imaginary 1 dyan sa cosine theta x. Fx is equals to f, cross multiply. So, fx is equals to f cosine theta x. So, ang masasolve pala natin gamit ang cosine theta equals adjacent over hypotenuse ay ang horizontal component or ang fx natin. So, yan, si fx is equals to f cosine theta x. Next, we have here the tan theta equals opposite over adjacent. Saan ba natin ginagamit? Ma'am, meron na tayong fy or vertical component. Meron na rin tayong fx or horizontal component. Para saan naman po si tan theta? Si tan theta naman po, ginagamit natin siya kapag ang nawawala is yung direction or yung theta, yung angle. Kasi hindi naman lahat ng problem is binibigay si theta x. So, minsan, meron yung sinasabi nga nila na slope. So, sometimes, ginagamitan din natin ng tan theta equals opposite over adjacent para mahanap yung designated angle nung isang problem. So, discuss natin kung paano ba nakukuha. So, we have here the tan theta x equals, ano yung opposite sa theta x? It's the fy. Ano naman yung adjacent sa theta x? It's the fx. Ngayon, para makuha natin yung theta x, iiwan natin si theta x dito at ililipat natin si tangent sa kabilang side. So, we will be having the arctan, kung familiar na kayo doon. Arctan is equals to fy over fx. So, doon pala natin nako-compute yung theta or yung angle ng isang problem. So, ano lang tayo dito? Quick example problem lang nitong theta x kung paano natin na-apply when it comes sa slope. So, for example, meron tayong given slope here na 4 vertical is to 7 horizontal. Ano bang ibig sabihin kasi ni 4 vertical, 7 horizontal? So, si slope kasi, nakikita nyo yan minsan, nakasulat sa problem. Ganito. May nakikita ka dyan na maliit na right triangle nakadikit sa forces. Makikita mo nakasulat yan, 4 and 7. Sometimes, meron pa yung tinatawag nilang slope, the hypotenuse niya. Ganun. Pero commonly, kapag sa mga problems, si 4v is to 7 horizontal naman yung binibigay. So, going back sa ating example problem, example lang ng slope, we have the 4v is to 7 horizontal. I-apply natin si formula na theta x. Theta x is equals to arctan fy over fx. Substitute natin ngayon. Theta x equals to arctan. Ano nga ba yung fy sa kanilang dalawa? So, kung aalalahanin natin, si fy, yun po yung vertical component natin. So, alin nga ba sa dalawa yung vertical component natin? It's the 4. Next is, we also have the fx, which is the horizontal component, which is the value of 7. So using our calculator, shift tan para mapalabas natin si arctan, open and close parenthesis 4/7. So it gives us the answer 29.745 degrees. So ibig sabihin pala si 4 vertical and 7 horizontal, ang naibibigay niya palang angle or ang equivalent niya sa angle is equals sa 29.475 degrees. Ayun. Naiintindihan na ba kung paano na nakukuha yung mga angle despite of slope yung binigay? So, for me, mas comfortable talaga ako na kino-convert lahat sa theta. Actually, para hindi na magkaroon ng lituan when it comes to solving. Ayan. Pero, basta naman kayo comfortable, nothing to worry about as long as you're comfortable in doing it or na gamitin it. Okay. So now, since we already discussed kung saan natin nakukuha yung components at the same time the formula para mapalabas yung different components, let's just have a quick review of the sign convention. Ma'am, bakit kailangan pa po yung sign convention? Statics naman po yung sinasolve natin. Kasi po, si sign convention po, it is a part convention. Sorry, kinulang ng N. So, si sign convention po kasi is kaakibat po niya ang direction. Ngayon, wait lang. I will just insert image. Ayan. So we have here our example directions. So far, familiar naman kayo sa mga directions natin. We have the north, south, east, west. The north, south, east, west. We also have the direction na tinatawag natin na northeast, hindi na siya nakalagay, southeast, southwest, and the northwest. And then, meron tayo mga iba't ibang directions here, east of north, north of east, south of east, and so on. Ngayon, i-review lang po natin kung paano ba natin nagagamit ang sign convention sa mga angles. Kasi as we know, meron tayong dalawang way of writing angles. We have the first standard position angle. Yung standard position angle, yun na yung mostly na ginagamit natin na pag ang binigay na given is 40 degrees, the 130 degrees, 210 degrees, the negative 210 degrees. Ayan. So, bakit po merong positive and merong negative 210 degrees? Kasi meron tayong dalawang direction na pwedeng i-project sa ating directions. We have, okay, let's try na i-project itong mga binanggit nating angles. So, ang pinaka point natin or origin natin is from the is. Kasi ito yung, kumbaga, ito yung 0 degree, ito yung 90 degree, 180 degrees, 270 degrees, and 360 degrees. Positive. Positive, in positive direction. Kasi, huwag kayo malilito ha, for this direction lang, ang counterclockwise kasi from the x component, this one, the x component, y component. From the x component, ang ikot niya pa counterclockwise, ibig sabihin, it's positive. Positive angle. So, huwag kayo malilito. Ngayon, if from x-axis and umikot siya pa clockwise, it's negative. So, to further discuss, okay, or para mas ma-gets ng nakakarami, let's just apply these examples. So, unahin natin si 40 degree. So, for example, 40 degrees, 0 from here, i-graph natin ng 40 degrees, sorry. So, possible, andyan ang 40 degrees. Project natin ganyan. So, for example, yan yung first natin. Sorry, na-erase. Ayan. So, here, 40 degrees. Ayan. We have the positive 130 degrees. So, again, mula ulit dito, from the x component, mula sa 0 degree, iikot tayo ng 130 degrees. So, this one is considered as 90 na. So, 90, ilan pa ang kulang to get 130? 9. We have still another 40. So, mag-estimate pa tayo ng around 40 degrees here. And then, project natin. So, ayan. So, kumbaga, itong kabuuang ito, yan yung 130 degrees. Ngayon, kung gagamitin na natin siya sa computation, alisin nyo na yung 90. Pwede na natin gamitin yung 40 degrees. 40 degrees. Paano ulit nakuha si 40 degrees? It's the 130 degrees minus the first quadrant, 90 degrees. Its equivalent is 40 degrees. And nakadikit siya sa ating y-axis. Naintindihan? Okay. So, ayun nga. Uulitin ko po. Kung may hindi kayo naintindihan, please do message me or please do leave comment sa ating GCR. Okay. So, next is we have the 210 degrees. For 210 degrees, ganun lang din naman yung gagawin natin. No? Mag-uumpisa tayo sa x component. Iikot tayo ng hanggang 200. So, this one is 180. So, parang usog ka lang ng konti kasi may naiwang pang 30 degrees. I-project natin ngayon. Andito ang, for example, like force. So, ang kabuuan nito, ito, is 210 degrees. Pero, ang naiiwan na lang dito, kapag inalis mo ang quadrant 1 and quadrant 2, ang may iwan na lang dyan is 30 degrees. Ayan. So, I hope naintindihan ninyo kung paano natin ginagawa ang angle when it comes to mga ganitong given. Lastly, we have the negative 210. Ma'am, paano po yung negative 210? So, katulad nga ng binanggit ko kanina, para ma-project natin ang negative, ang ikot natin is from the x component. Iikot tayo ng clockwise. So, ganun pa din naman. Just don't forget to consider the sign. Do not always forget the sign dahil malaki ang bearing ng mga sign sa direction. Okay, so since negative 210, mag-i-start tayo dito. Change lang tayo ng color. Gagamit tayo, mula dito sa x-axis, iikot tayo ngayon ng hanggang 210. So, 90, 180, so, probably around here, project natin yan. Ayan, pasensya na, medyo hindi straight. So, again, mula dito hanggang dito, yan yung negative 210 degrees. Pero mula dito hanggang dito, yun na lang yung naiiwan natin na angle, which is the 30 degrees. Ma'am, bakit po hindi na po sinama yung negative sa 30 degrees? Kasi po, yung negative na lumalabas or ginagamit lang dito is i-state lang na ang ikot niya is negative. I mean, pa-clockwise, since clockwise is negative. Ibig sabihin, dun lang naman tayo magbe-base. So, kung ano yung maiiwan na theta dito, yun na lang yung pinaka-i-consider natin. And wala na siyang sign kasi nga, na-apply na natin siya. So, tingnan nyo yung difference ng positive 210 and negative 210. So, ang ikot ni positive is papunta dito. So, yung 30 degrees na naiwan is nasa quadrant 3 na siya. Ngayon, si negative 210 naman is mula dito sa x-component, umikot ng pa-clockwise, and ang naiwan niya na 30 degrees is nasa quadrant 2. So, look kung ano yung difference nung dalawa when it comes to sign. Okay, so wag niyong kakalimutan ang sign dahil medyo malaki-laki ang bearing niya sa ating computation. Okay, so next, meron tayong tinatawag, na compass bearing. Ano po ba yung compass bearing? Si compass bearing ngayon, for example, nakikita nyo na to mga to. North 30 degrees east. Okay. Ma'am, paano po namin ilalagay yung north 30 degrees east? Wala naman pong ganyan na direction. Hindi ibig sabihin yung north 30 degrees east is ibig sabihin eto na yun ha. Kasi si north east, southeast, southwest, tsaka si northwest, it represents na nasa 45 degrees. Kasi nahahati lang si 90 degrees. Parang hinati lang yung 90 degrees. Kaya meron tayong northeast, southeast, southwest, and northwest. Ito north 30 degrees east. So, ibig sabihin, hindi siya yung northeast. So, ma'am, paano po? Ngayon, ipapakita ko kung paano natin i-consider yung direction na yan, north 30 degrees east. Okay. So, dahan-dahanin natin. Si north 30 degrees east, possible nyo din po siyang isulat as 30 degrees east of north. So, pwede nyo pala siyang i-convert into ganitong type of direction. 30 degrees east of north. Ngayon, ititignan natin, meron na ba tayong direction na east of north? Yes, meron na, di ba? Itong east of north. Ito. Ayan. East of north. So, ibig sabihin pala, yung 30 degrees east of north na sinasabi niya, nakalocate siya, kadikit dito. Okay. Kasi east of north. So, ang palatandaan nyo lang dyan, pag i-convert nyo na siya from this format into this format, so, laging mauuna is yung nasa right na direction. Diba? Meron tayong left side direction tapos right side direction. So, pag i-rewrite nyo para magkaroon ng mas malinaw, we will write it na mas mauuna si right side na direction tapos yung left side na direction. Ayun. So, sana hindi kayo nalito sa compass bearing. Dahil medyo nakakalito naman talaga siya. But then, sana mas maintindihan ninyo kung paano natin siya isusulat. Dahil malay nyo, it will be given on the quiz or the exam or on final exam. So, please remember how do we plot directions. Ayun. So, for our concepts sa statics, introduction to statics, I think I already discussed all the important terms, important concepts na pwede natin magamit on our example problem. So, after this video, I hope na you remember the concept all along hanggang sa final exam. I hope na maalala nyo lahat ng mga definitions ng terms and concepts. So, my next video will be the example problem. So, after you watch this video, I hope that you will answer again our mandatory video attendance. Wala namang bearing if napanood nyo to ng Friday, ng Saturday, ng Sunday, ng Monday, or kung kailan nyo napanood. So, as long as sagutan nyo itong nasa dulong attendance check lang na pinapanood nyo talaga yung mga video. So, for our attendance check, video check, who is your favorite instructor in CE subjects? Ayan. Mandatory, lang siya. Check. Ayan. And so, for any questions, clarifications, violent reaction, just do message me again on my Facebook Messenger, or you can drop your concerns sa ating GC and also sa GCR comment section. Ayun. So, I hope everyone learn sa ating introduction to statics. I will be discussing example problems for this on how do we compute the different components of a vector. Ayun lang, guys. Thank you so much.